Hey guys, Coach Stephen Arnold here. I'm assuming you're all tuning in and watching this at a later date because you're not at the live webinar, but I've had my hair cut especially for this one and a shave. So I'm feeling pretty fresh today and I've got this material prepared for you. Well, I haven't actually really got it prepared, but I've got some stuff drawn up on my whiteboard here and I'm going to try to explain a little bit about emotional eating. I'm certainly not a mindset coach. This isn't my field of expertise, but I do a little bit of study and I have a little bit of experience in it. And I think what I have to say today will help a lot of you out, if not today, at some point in the future. And if this isn't yourself, if you're not an emotional eater at all, personally, I don't have issues with emotional eating, but I'll get to this in a sec. I'm sure you'll know somebody that does. And I don't have a problem with emotional eating, as in it doesn't cause me to move away from my body composition goals or my health goals. I don't eat to the point where I gain weight or not, but emotional eating is relevant in all of us, me included. So what did I do last night? I went to the beach, and what did I do? I bought some ice cream. I didn't say a scoop, but when you ask me what my favorite foods are, I will tell you pizza, jelly snakes, and ice cream. And I think they don't taste any better than any other foods. You know, people are talking about chocolate and stuff like this, but they don't, burgers, whatever, they just don't bother me at all. Like, it's just those three things. And I can't explain to you why I prefer those to chocolate. You know, I've got no love or no care and no interest in chocolate or anything else at all other than those three. I don't actually like the taste of them all more than anything else. But when I think about this, the more I study, the more I think back to it. We used to go for ice cream with my dad every Sunday in the summer. And being from England, we don't get much of a summer. So getting ice cream with my dad on a Sunday was like a massive treat. And it's probably some of my fondest memories were going down Minehead Beach, and there was like 2 ice cream shops, and we tried to find one that was open, or hopefully we'd find one. And there was one that would have like a raspberry and a vanilla whip, like a Mr. Whippy, and then they'd roll it in this box of like crushed almonds. Oh, it's so good. It's such a treat. And I remember like holding the cone, and my dad would like come over and have to lick it because it was all melting over my hand. Just fantastic memories. And then pizza, it was always Friday night. That was our one treat of the week. We'd have a pizza takeaway with my family at home. And then jelly snakes. I remember the only time I'd ever get sweets was when we went to visit my great-grandparents. So my great-granddad, Reggie, a legend of a man. He was in the Second World War, massive, like 6'3". His hands were like the size of my head. And we'd go around there every Saturday after football. We'd spend some time with them. We'd have like cheese and crackers and a cup of tea and some pickled onions, just really traditional stuff with the family. And then every Saturday before we left, he'd give us 20p, my sister and I, and then we'd sit in the car. Mum would drive us up to a sweet shop, and we'd go in there and get 20 pence worth of jelly sweets, a penny each. So they're the 3 foods that I like the best, and it's not because like they taste better than chocolate or they taste better than burgers. I got no interest in those at all. But thinking back, it's probably because I relate them to those memories, and it gives me that sense of warmth and loving. So whether you have an issue with emotional eating or not, we are all subject to it, or all open to it. It does play a role in everything that we do, whether you think it or not. So just think back to some of the foods that you like, and possibly how you come about to like them. Anyway, right, that's a little story about me. What we're going to do now is get into a little bit of structured content, which might help you to break through the issue or the barrier of emotional eating if that's something that you really struggle with. So if you haven't quite achieved your physique goals, it may be because there's something in your way. It may just be a case of time, maybe something that's in your way, a hurdle or barrier, something that's holding you back. And emotional eating is something that we see very common. It's actually one of the biggest problems that we come across. So we're going to go through some of the issues now, and we're also going to go through some of the things that you can do to fix it. All right, let's get into it. So I'm going to grab a quick drink of water. Okay, so emotional eating is like a vicious cycle, and it tends to start at the bottom. At the bottom of the cycle, when we'll go over the cycles first. So the first cycle, a vicious cycle, is about self-worth. And the second cycle is about addiction. We'll come to this one in more detail. This one, we're going to come to this a bit later as well. The first cycle we're going to look at is self-worth, and it tends to start at the bottom. So you'll get to the absolute bottom, feel like absolute shit about yourself. You just had a big weekend of eating, drinking, partying, doing whatever, or you've come to the end of a festive period where you've completely overeaten and you feel really bad, overindulged, and you feel really bad about yourself. You get to the bottom and you go, I'm going to do something about this. I've had enough of being overweight, feeling like shit, no energy. I've had enough. I'm going to take action. So you take action. You start sorting your diet out. You go to get a coach. You follow a diet plan. You start going to the gym. You start getting results. And what happens when you follow a diet plan and go to the gym? You get results. You start seeing changes. You start looking better. And then what happens is you get to a point where you're like, holy shit, I actually feel better and look better. Wow, this is working. We see this a lot. And then people go, they don't realize they're doing it. And they'll go, I don't think that I'm worthy of this goal. I don't think I deserve to be under 100 kilos. I'm not good enough to have a six-pack. I'm not good enough to not have any cellulite. I don't think that I'm worthy of that. I don't think it's possible. I'm not comfortable looking like this. I'm used to struggling. I'm used to seeing that. I'm used to feeling like crap. I'm used to being overweight. This is new ground for me. This is new territory. I'm unsafe. I'm not sure how to act. I'm not sure how to feel. Self-sabotage comes in. Self-sabotage comes in and we start the cycle all over again. Start overeating, start missing the gym, round and round, back down to the bottom. Once you're at the bottom, I've had enough of this. I feel like shit. I look like shit. Vicious cycle. That's a possible cycle that you could be in. Second cycle, addiction. Now, people think they're addicted to the food. I love overeating. I love eating pizza. I'll eat pizza all day. If I get the chance, I'll eat that all day. I just love it. I love pizza. I love it in my mouth. But that's not the actual reality. The reality is people get addicted to the negative feeling that comes after they've overate or overindulged. So the brain has more receptors to negative thoughts, negative processes, negative pathways than it does positive. So we do get a good feeling from eating food, but we don't become addicted to that. We actually get addicted to the negativity that happens after. So it's here, overeat. Then we get addicted, we get the negative, and then we feel like shit the next day. Get back on track. Start eating well, things are going good, but we miss the feeling of feeling negative. We miss the feeling that it gives us. We miss that self-guilt. We're not comfortable being on a winning formation, a winning cycle. It's not what we're familiar with. We're addicted to the negativity. So that's the second cycle that we get caught up in. Now, before we talk about the solution, I also want to talk about the other thing that eating gives us. So when we're babies, we're fed by our mothers, and it's a very intimate thing. It's a very intimate action. We're close to the bosom, we're close to the heart, close to the breasts. We're getting breastfed or bottle fed. There's eye contact. That whole moment is filled with love. There couldn't be any more love than between a mother and a newborn baby. That's what we associate with food. We're getting fed, we have that feeling. And as we grow up, we sit at the dinner table with our parents. Our parents have worked hard all week. Mother's worked hard in the kitchen. They've prepared this lovely roast dinner. They prepared this nice food for us. We sit down as a family and we talk about our experiences. We talk about our day. We talk about our week. Everything is great and we love that. We get safety from our home. And then as we get older, we go out, have social occasions with our friends, with our loved ones, whether we're going on dates or we're going to restaurants. We're eating nice food and we're in a safe environment that we enjoy, we thrive off, we love that. And we get the connection, we get that feeling, we get that warmth, we get that safety with food. We don't get it from food, we get it with food. And this is where the mistake becomes, because then when we get sad or we feel like we want some love, we want some feeling, we want some safety, what we'll do is we'll turn to food. But it's not from the food that we get that feeling, it's with food. So we can still get that feeling, but we need to understand that it's with food that we get it, not from food. And this is where traditional strict diets fall down. So when people ask me, I haven't got a non-training day food plan. No, I want you to eat intuitively Saturday and Sunday. On your non-training days, eat what your body's telling you to eat for a multiple of reasons. But one of those reasons is because you get that release. You can go and eat the foods that you want. Not on a physiological, but there's also physiological benefits to it as well. We're not talking about those today. We're talking about psychological benefits. Go and eat the foods that you want. Go and eat the foods that you enjoy. Go and eat what your body's telling you to eat. Give yourself that mental rest. Because not only is it a stress to weigh and measure all your food all the time, we're also withdrawing ourselves from this loving, safe, warm environment that we have with food. We're withdrawing ourselves from that. And all of a sudden, we've replaced the loving, warm, safe feelings that we get with food, and we're replacing them with stress and anxiety of missing out. We're not with the pack anymore. We're not with our crowd. We're not with our herd, our tribe, and we're isolated. And this is a stress. This is withering. This kills us, because it goes back to caveman days. If we weren't part of that tribe, we were isolated and we would have died. And we're replicating that feeling by sticking to a rigid diet plan, which is why it's important that we understand we need to take away. We need to come away and still put those foods in, still have that ice cream and the crisps and the pizza, but account for it and do it in balance. Find balance. I'm not saying go out and overeat. Find that balance, because that's what's good for us mentally. It's healthy for us mentally. Now, I always go back, and I'm really passionate about this, because when I was aspiring to be the world's shittest natural bodybuilder, I just did not have the genetics for this, but I give it a really good shot. I actually came first at state titles and second in the world, and that was pure on effort, not from genetics. I was the smallest guy on stage, but no one was as lean as me. No one had the symmetry and the dimensions that I had. Even though I was the smallest, I still got first at state and second at worlds. So I won on effort. But I was nowhere near a bodybuilder. I was never going to be a bodybuilder. But anyway, I tried to be a bodybuilder for a whole year. I stuck to everything. I stuck to everything 100%, and it was the most miserable time of my life. I looked great. I was ripped. My glutes were shredded. I had veins in my delts, veins in my head. I was shredded. I was a shredded machine. I looked great. Every time people were like, whoa. But I felt like shit. I felt like shit. I looked like shit on the inside as well. But I felt like shit. My life was shit. My girlfriend, she'd had enough of me. She actually walked out between states and worlds. She left me. She'd had enough. I'd sacrificed so much that my life was miserable, because I withdrew from my tribe. I withdrew from the thing that gave me warmth, love, and happiness. I sacrificed all that chasing body composition. I stuck to that rigid diet plan to the T for a whole year. It was a very sad place for me. It wasn't good. It wasn't a healthy place. And what happens? Where am I now? You know, I'm fucking beat up. I got injuries in my knee, my hip, my back, my shoulder, my elbow, my bicep. You know, I go to the gym 4 times a week and do 30 minutes of rehab. Not only in a physical state, but I got no motivation or enthusiasm to be a bodybuilder anymore. I don't want to do that. It ruined my life. So the love for training and bodybuilding is gone now, because I'd overdone it. I hadn't respected the emotional connection and the emotional value of being in a healthy nutrition and healthy diet plan and a healthy life. I withdrew from that. I'd gone from here and completely switched to here. And as a result of it, we couldn't stick to it. And that's why traditional diets don't work. People go, I'm going to stick to this diet for 6 weeks, 100% compliant, lose 3 kilos. Fuck it, I can't fucking stick to it. They give up, and then they wreck all their hard work, and they just go on these fucking binge starvation cycles, and it's just so fucking unhealthy. So it's about finding that balance. Understanding human physiology isn't just about numbers. We want to have a meal plan. We want to have an idea of what we're eating, what's going on, what's going out, so we can reach our body composition goals, but we want to do it with health and balance. So how do we overcome emotional eating, and how do we work around it? So I've told you about being here, part of the tribe, being in a loving, safe, happy environment. It's about having balance with your nutrition, eating foods that you enjoy still, but having an idea of what's going out and moving towards your goal still. We don't need to be all the way over here withdrawing, sticking to a rigid diet plan that someone's wrote for me. How the fuck does someone know what I should be eating? They don't know me. They can give me calories and macros and macros, but they don't know how that affects me on a psychological level. We need to teach our clients how to eat, how to interact, how to be in touch with their emotional connection, their psychological needs for food, as well as their physiological needs for food. And if you can identify that you may be in these cycles, the first thing is having self-awareness. Am I doing that? And some people don't even know. If they go home and they're like, shit, fuck, I can't even remember eating. You know, thinking back now, I did. I ate a whole packet of biscuits. So sometimes it is about self-awareness. So having that self-awareness, where did I overeat? Did I overeat? Yeah, wow. When you think back, yeah, I really did. So identifying and having self-awareness around the fact that you may be in one of these negative loops is the first point. The second point is identifying when you're on the up, when you're at the peak, when you're on the way down, when you're at the bottom. So most people get to the bottom, I'm going to have to make change, I'm going to have to make a move. Get to the top, self-sabotage. So we want to identify, I'm on the way up, I'm at the peak, I know what's coming, stop. Don't allow myself to do that. I know about the self-sabotage, stay on track. Don't look at the scales, don't check the mirror, don't do anything, just keep doing what I'm doing. Focus on result-based habits. Don't focus on moving forward. Don't focus on what you're actually achieving if you know that you're going to self-sabotage when you get to the top. Work on those habits. Just keep getting the meals in, keep going to the gym. Don't think about it. Change what you know is going to happen. Addicted to negativity, again, having self-awareness, know what you're doing, know that it's coming. Stop it. Stop yourself. Whoa, stop. I don't want to eat. I know that it makes me feel good when I eat it, but it's a negative feeling I get afterwards. I know what's coming. Do I need to eat that much? Can I just have enjoyment with friends without overindulging? Just have that awareness. I don't need to do that. And this is something that I probably had to do when I was a young fella. All my mates would go out drinking, and I was like, yeah, just fucking wrecks on my hard work in the gym. Like, yeah, that's pretty shit. Training like fuck and then going out and drinking 8 pints of Guinness and ruin it all. I can still go out and have 2 pints of Guinness. I can actually go out and have all that fun and have no Guinness and drive. Have that awareness. I don't need to overindulge. I can still go out with my friends and have fun. I don't need to have 8 pints. I don't need to go out and eat a whole cheese wheel or eat 3 pizzas. You can still go out, have that self-awareness. Have that self-awareness. That's the first step. Now, having self-awareness and trying to stop yourself is easier said than done. It's very hard when you're there. It's very hard when you're in the moment. So what I suggest is pre-frame it, plan it, control those thoughts before they happen. So going back to what we work on, all of you have had a morning routine sent through. If you haven't had a morning routine sent through, it is in the documents section of this group. And if for some reason I release this material to people that aren't in the group, it's a coaching group that we have, there's still material in there, and there's a morning routine. And in that morning routine, I ask every single one of you to do some positive affirmations. I can stick to this goal. I can do these habits. I can achieve my goal. Create these routines in your day. Know that these decisions are coming, and make the decision, make the right decision before you get there. So I sit down and I visualize my day every day, and I know the difficult conversations that I'm going to have, and I visualize myself having these conversations before they occur. And then when someone gets on the phone and they're trying to negotiate on price, or they're coming up with an objection, I've already handled it, I've already dealt with it and given the answer. So when it actually comes to having that conversation, that answer, it's already been done in my head. I don't have to worry about it on the spot. I don't have to think about it. I've already done it. When I'm in clear thought and I'm in control, there's no emotion involved at the start when I'm there visualizing it. I've already done the hard work. So when I'm having to negotiate, anything that's difficult, anything that's uncomfortable for me to do, I do it first thing in the morning. And this is what you can do with these negative cycles as well. Like, I know when I get home from work, I'm going to want to eat those biscuits. Just make that decision. Just visualize yourself walking in the door. Hey, babe, I'm home. Yeah, great day. Yeah. What's for tea? Yeah, fish and peas and white potatoes. Beautiful. those Tim Tams are in the cupboard. I know, yeah, but I'm not going to eat them. Yeah, they're beautiful, but I'm going to look at them and just say, yeah, I don't need them. And when I go to bed, I'm going to feel very happy about myself that I didn't eat them. I've already made that decision before you get there. Because when you get there, you might have emotional fatigue. You might be caught up in the moment. The pathways might not be clear. So make those pathways in the morning. So something that we've spoke about, it's these negative pathways are embedded in your neurotransmitter pathways inside your brain. You've been doing these for years. They're hardwired in. So you don't think that listening to this webinar and going away and making a few changes is going to change it, because it won't. It's been years. You've built pathways in your body. These neurotransmitter pathways are like this. They're like that. Sorry, you can't see that very well. They're rigid. They're in your brain. They're in here already. So think of like an old country road that an old tractor's been down, and there's dug those big gullies, and you know you drive away and you're in there and you can't get off. That's what's going on in your brain. And what we want you to do through this positive affirmations, through this visualization work every morning, through this forward thinking, for this early morning decision making, we're going to grind new pathways out. Over time, we're going to draw, sorry, you can't see that. We're going to draw these new pathways in. But the same as if you were in a field and you were trying to divert off through the field, off the normal pathways, they're not going to ingrain, they're not going to come in straight away. It's going to take a while. You need to keep practicing. It's something that I do with my life, not with my emotional eating, but with other areas of my life. I do that every single morning, something that I work on. And even now, I'm still a million miles away from being perfect, but there's definitely progression there for me. I'm definitely making improvements in my weak areas. I just work on them every single day. And today I was put in a position, a guy come in, and I was very strong. I knew what he was, I didn't know what he was going to say, because it was an unplanned meeting. But because I ground a new pathway in, I handled it in the way I wanted to. I was very proud of myself. Years ago, I would have crumbled, and the guy would have won the conversation that we had. Whereas I was prepared because I'd done the hard work. I've been doing that for 4 or 5 years now. Building these new pathways, and that's what we have to do. We have to get out of these negative loops, build new pathways. Difficult, but something that we need to keep working on. And like we said, self-awareness is the first thing. Practice and repetition is the second thing. So that is pretty much it. That's a wrap. That's pretty much all I've got. I think that's all right. That's pretty good. There's some good stuff there to work on. As an experienced coach, someone that's been working with people for decades, this is stuff that we know is true and we know that it works. It's just not very easy. So I hope that's got some value to you. That's about it. So if you like it, let me know. Make a comment, get in touch with me. I'm always happy to help.